So today's video is a comparison between these two Audio-Technica turntables. This Audio-Technica, it is an AT120 USB. That's this one here. It's about 4 years old. I think about 4 years old, and I'm going to just refer to it from this point out as the 120. This is original to the studio, and this one here, this is an Audio-Technica AT140 XP. I'm going to be referring to that as the 140 moving forward. This is pretty much brand new. It's about 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old. And I'm comparing one with the other. And that's all this video is. Hopefully it'll be pretty short. Really, there's not that much to say, but thought it was worthy of a video anyway. So, just to level set, the 120 output is both line level and USB. The 140 puts out phono level, which means you have to buy or have an external phono preamp for this to bring for the audio to come out of here and then be converted to line level. Secondarily, this Audio-Technica, the original 120, is probably got maybe about less than 10 hours of runtime on it in the past 4 years. I don't use it practically ever. And there's a reason why I'm saying that. It's because it is in virtually brand new shape right now. Nothing that no wear and tear should have occurred to cause some of the issues that I'm going to bring up. Secondarily, for both of them, Audio-Technica has installed. They're both very heavy, first of all, but their heaviness is by virtue, and this applies to both, is by virtue of having a giant metal plate installed in the bottom of each of these cabinets. This one's metal plate is a little bit bigger, and this one, the 140, is a little heavier, but they both have that. And my suspicion is that the engineers would argue, at Audio-Technica would argue, that okay, having these things have more mass is going to make them more resistant to vibration and any kind of sound, external sound coming up through like the feet or wherever, and polluting the audio fidelity. So having extra mass is a good thing. And in addition to the engineers saying that, the marketing people at Audio-Technica probably said, "Damn, heavy means better, right? You know, people are going to buy these. They're going to feel heavy and solid. They're going to assume that they're made with great quality." Fact of the matter is, just, you know, to set the record straight, that all that mass, like I said, is by virtue of metal plates that they stuck in the bottom of here. And I know that because I had to disassemble them each in order to wire up the remote start buttons. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, really? It's below all the mechanics, all the, you know, all the guts of it just sitting in the bottom, glued actually into the bottom of the housing. Okay, so all that out of the way. Let's get started with the assessment. Now, in my opinion, I'm going to be evaluating these two on two different metrics. One is looks, and the other is audio fidelity. So let's get started with the looks. Personally, I think the 120 looks better than the 140, principally for two main reasons. I know these are superficial, but I can't help it. The original 120 has that chrome tone arm, which I think is a better look than this matte silver one made out of a material on the 140, which I'm not even sure if it's metal. It may even be plastic for all I know. Secondarily, I like the square buttons all around on the 120. I think that's a better vintage look, more similar to the bellwether of this type of turntable, the Technics 1200. Anything that looks as close to that Technics 1200 to me is an important thing. So on those, because of that, I think the 120 looks better. Okay, so audio fidelity. So audio fidelity is definitely superior coming out of the 140, and I'll give you a little sample of that in a minute. Really, what it boils down to is what I think is probably motor noise. On the 120, when you start it up, and I've given this, you know, you'll be hearing this, and it's just a lot of quiet, just basically the intro track. So there's, you know, maybe a couple 30 seconds or so of nothingness at the beginning of both of these records, and you'll hear the startup. In a DJ situation or actual use situation, probably not much of a big deal if you've done a good job in queuing the records, and if you're doing like a cross segue or whatever like that, you're probably fine, because no one's ever going to hear that sound. But I noticed it, and I can't, with my little, I guess I got a little OCD on this. I can't not hear it now. And what that it is there is almost like a torquey sound, like a umph, when this thing first starts up, the 120 first starts up. And then if you listen closely enough, before there's any material making its way through, you can hear a little thud, 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 thud. And it's almost as if, and I'm not doing the sound justice, but it's almost as if there's a bad bearing in the motor somewhere. Okay, so and I'm going to remote start both of these, so there's none of my physical touching coming through the styli. Okay, so here is the 120 starting up, and give it a listen. So I heard it just there through my headphones. I'm not sure if it's going to make its way in how noticeable it's going to be when all this audio gets pulled into YouTube, but I heard it without a doubt. It was there. So let's try that one again. And I'm only emphasizing this because you won't hear this on the 140 when we run the 140. Let's try that again. And I'm not talking the scratchy sound. The scratchy sound is the record. There's nothing you can do about that. And that applies to both the 140 and the 120. So here's the 120 again. Give it a listen. Compared to the 140. Virtually silent. That was the difference. I mean, there's no question about that. One other note is the 140's platter is a little heavier, noticeably heavier. So they've probably obviously done some dampening with that. But that can't account for all of this, all the extra sound. Let's try that again. Give us plenty of runway on each. Okay. 120. I can hear it. 140. Nothing. So anyway, that is my assessment. Looks go to the 120. Audio fidelity goes to the 140. All right. Thanks for watching.